Welcome, everyone, to this deep dive. We love digging into fascinating sources to see what we can learn.
Absolutely. And today we're looking at a really interesting passage from the Bible.
That's right, First Chronicles Chapter 12. It's a historical snapshot, but our mission here is to see, well, what's the deeper meaning?
Especially how it might connect to strengthening your own faith journey today.
Exactly. So let's set the scene.
Hmm.
David's in a place called Ziklag. Things are tense. King Saul isn't exactly his biggest fan at this point.
No, he's actively opposing him. It's a vulnerable time for David. But then something starts happening. People begin showing up. Warriors.
Yeah, and not just a few. The chapter lists out all these different groups. You've got men from Gad, Benjamin, Judah, Manasseh. Quite a mix.
And the descriptions are really vivid, aren't they? These aren't just average Joes signing up.
Not at all. They're called men of might, fit for the battle, skilled with shields, bucklers, bows.
And get this, some were ambidextrous. Could use their right hand and their left for slinging stones or shooting arrows. That's some serious skill.
It really is. And the Gadites. The text says they had faces like lions.
Right, and they were as swift as gazelles on the mountains. It paints such a picture of just formidable, agile warriors.
Makes you think about David's reputation even then to attract people like that.
Definitely. And it wasn't a small group either. It starts with smaller bands, sure, but it grows.
Yeah, the numbers swell, leaders over hundreds, even thousands. It's clearly becoming a significant force.
And talk about commitment, those Gadites we mentioned. They crossed the Jordan River when it was flooding.
Flooding, that's incredibly dangerous.
It is, just to go and rout enemies on the other side. That's not just joining up. That's decisive, risky action driven by conviction.
So all these tough warriors arrive. But David, he's smart. He doesn't just assume they're all on his side, does he?
No, he's cautious.
Right.
He meets them and basically says, look, if you're here in peace to help, great, we're united.
Yeah.
But if you're here to betray me, even though I've done nothing wrong to deserve it, then may God himself see it and judge.
It shows his reliance on God, even in assessing people, that need for discernment.
It's timeless, isn't it? And then you get this amazing response from Amasai, one of the captains.
Oh yeah, that part is powerful.
The Spirit comes upon him and he just declares, we are yours, David. We are on your side, son of Jesse. Success, success to you, and success to those who help you, for your God will help you.
Wow. Just unequivocal, spirit-led confirmation.
Exactly. It wasn't just politics. There was this divine stamp of approval. So David welcomes them in, makes them leaders.
And then there's that mention of the tribe of Issachar. I find them fascinating.
Me too. They aren't praised for fighting prowess, specifically.
No, they're praised for understanding of the times and knowing what Israel should do.
Mm.
Their leaders were respected, and their kinsmen followed their lead.
That adds such an important dimension. It's not just about strength or numbers. It's about wisdom, insight, knowing God's timing.
Like strategic thinking, but on a spiritual level almost.
Precisely. Understanding the bigger picture, God's picture, and knowing the right course of action, that's invaluable leadership.
So all these different groups, different strengths, the mighty warriors, the wise counselors, they start coming together.
And it builds towards this huge gathering at Hebron. This wasn't just random support anymore. It was becoming a unified movement.
And the purpose was really clear, wasn't it?
Crystal clear. The text explicitly says they came together to turn the kingdom of Saul over to David, according to the word of the Lord.
According to God's word.
Yeah.
So it's seen as the fulfillment of prophecy, of God's plan.
Exactly. This wasn't just people picking a new leader. It was aligning with what God had already declared.
And the scale of it at Hebron. The numbers listed from all the different tribes, Judah, Simeon, Levi, Benjamin, Ephraim, Manasseh. It's just massive, widespread support.
It really underscores the shift that was happening across the nation. But what really strikes me is how they came.
What do you mean?
The description. They came with a perfect heart, or a loyal, undivided heart, to make David king.
A perfect heart. And it says the rest of Israel was of one heart.
Yes. That speaks volumes about the unity. No factions, no half-heartedness mentioned in that moment. Just this shared purpose, this genuine desire to see God's chosen king established.
Imagine the atmosphere there. The text even mentions they stayed for 3 days, eating and drinking, celebrating. Their kinsmen brought supplies.
It's a time of real joy, real national unity, centered around God's plan unfolding.
Okay, so that's the story. Amazing account. But how do we bridge this to today? How does this strengthen our faith?
Well, think about that unity first. All those diverse groups coming together. It's a powerful picture, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
In our lives, families, communities, churches, workplaces, there's real strength when different people unite around shared values, a common purpose, especially one rooted in faith.
That makes sense. And what about the warriors themselves? Their skills, their readiness?
It reminds us about preparation, I think. Developing our own God given abilities, our character, being ready for the opportunities God puts in front of us, opportunities that align with our calling.
So cultivating our skills isn't just secular. It can be part of our faith journey, being ready to serve effectively.
Absolutely. And then there's Issachar's wisdom, understanding the times.
That feels incredibly relevant today, with so much noise and information.
Exactly. How do we discern God's leading? How do we know what we ought to do in our complex world? It points to needing wisdom, prayer, stepping back to see the bigger picture.
And the loyalty piece, too. Those warriors supported David before he was securely on the throne, when it was probably still risky.
Yes. That kind of courage, standing by your convictions, by your faith, even when it's difficult or unpopular, that builds deep trust in God's plan, doesn't it? Even when you can't see the whole outcome yet.
It really does. Trusting that God is working, even behind the scenes.
Which leads to another point. God orchestrating it all, bringing the right people, the right skills, the right resources together for David at just the right time.
That can be such an encouragement for us today, can't it? Believing God is still working like that in our lives.
Definitely. It bolsters faith to remember He provides, He connects, He arranges things for His purposes.
And ultimately, they weren't just joining Team David. They were part of establishing God's kingdom in Israel, something much bigger than themselves.
Right, and that invites us to think. What are God's larger purposes we're aligning ourselves with today? Finding our place in His bigger story gives such meaning, and, well, it strengthens faith.
So lots of takeaways here. Unity, preparation, discernment, loyalty.
And the reassurance that God is orchestrating things for His good purposes. These aren't just old stories, they're principles for living faithfully right now.
And it all circles back to that phrase. They came with a perfect heart, undivided, loyal, committed.
It's a powerful challenge for us, isn't it? What does it mean for you personally to act with a perfect heart towards God and His call on your life?
How does that wholeheartedness shape your choices, your trust, your entire faith journey? Something to really mull over.
May you feel equipped, discerning, and faithful, drawing real strength from understanding how God worked then and knowing He still works today.